Hi guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. This video will be me going through the Essendon fantasy preview for 2023. As they, under a new coach, a lot of things will change, but whether they actually are able to impact the AFL fantasy season is something that we'll go through today. So remember to like and subscribe. So here again, I've done my usual highlighting of players, and you can see a slight change to my team with Darcy Parish now coming out and Will Setterfield coming in, which has changed a couple of things. Now, Merritt is just a guy I wish I could get in. I just have a feeling that I didn't want to overload on Bomber players, and I have a feeling that he will be the one to get tagged, as he's Darcy Parish isn't as dangerous as the likes of Zach Merritt, so I think he's the one to get tagged. And if we look at his stats from last year, you'll see 107, a great average. A lot of good start, some good scores here. Then he came against the Swans, and I'm pretty sure he got tagged out of the game pretty much, or he just didn't want to be there. That's something I also question with some of these Essendon players, but hopefully the new coach can help them to actually play to their best. Another good stretch here, massive stretch here where he went huge, and then dropped, and then he got tagged by, I believe it was Perryman, who tagged him 55 again, then another mid game, and then a pretty good finish to the season in 125. So he's a very volatile scorer, especially with the tag. So he's a risk, obviously, but I have a feeling that he just doesn't go as well this year. He probably sticks around the 105, 110 range, but I think that there's better value in players that aren't so taggable, that have better tackling numbers than the likes of Merritt. Now on to Darcy Parish, a guy that I originally thought I'd have him in my team up until a little bit before this recording. Averaged 100 last year, so he's still good value for money here. It's just he's had some injury games, a low score of 30. I think that was his injury game. Let me scroll down here. Yeah, he would have got injured in this game because he was out. And so, but the problem with him also is he can get tagged out of games. Redmayne, he probably now with the new coach coming in actually could up that average to 90, 95, but he could also go back to what he was doing the year before. I believe he dropped away 67, 47 back then, 68. So he's one that could easily go 90, or could easily go back to 75, 70. So I just think with the history behind him, including history, I don't think he's as valuable as the likes of Dacos and Young, who are the same price as him, or just a little bit more expensive. Dylan Shields, an interesting one, priced at 84. Do I think he goes back to that form he had? Where is it? It would be 2019, I'm guessing. Yeah, 2019 and 2015, around that time as well, where he's scoring in high 90s. I don't think he does. His last 3 and last 5 are really good, but we'll see if that translates, especially with Setterfield coming into the midfield. He did have more CBAs in the back half of the year, which did see this increase in scoring. And now on to Langford. Just don't see much value in him. Heppel, he's not old, but he's not good enough for fantasy. McGrath's another one with defender status. If you're willing to risk it on him and think that he has the potential to go 95 or 90, then you could go for him. But I just don't see it with him. I think he more sticks around that around this, maybe 5, maybe 10 higher, but I don't think it's that big breakout that you need if you're going to have him in there, as he's almost a premium defender. Nick Martin, probably just overpriced for the value that he can give, especially given that he did have a 130 to start, which sort of just left his average up high for pretty much the whole season. Especially looking at this back half, it wasn't too flash from round 16 onwards. Ridley, Hind, no. Caldwell, another guy that could make that jump with the midfield. Now let me look back at this. Shield is 29, so turning 30. So Caldwell could be that guy that makes the jump. I just think it's going to be more Will Setterfield coming into the fold. He wouldn't be coming into a new team just to not even play his preferred position. Now on to Setterfield. I think he does make that jump. If you take out, I believe it was, if you take out the 5 that he scored as a Medi sub last year, his average immediately jumps to 74 or 73-ish, which is already a 5-point gain or so. And then if you take out this bad game against Freo of a 43, and then he even scored a 50 here. So he has a couple of low scores. If you take those out, then he starts getting up towards that 80 average. And I think with a new role, with a new team and a new role, getting into the midfield, I think he does go big this year. And I think he could easily go and get that 90 score that you need from him, at least early on into the season, as he's in that position with Dom Sheed to be the first guy to be upgraded. Once you probably need a good 4-game stretch out of him, 4 to 5 games to start the year, which is sort of what I picked him for. First 4 games, get those big 90, 100 scores, get up towards that 720, 730k, and then I can switch you out for another guy with a rookie downgrade, him upgrading up towards hopefully that 800, 850k. Now we have Hobbs here. I think it's just too pricey for his output here. 540k, you'd probably snap him up if he was 450, 460, as shown in his ownership of 0.49%. As I think if he was around that 450 price tag, he would be around that 5 to 10%. Just no one interesting here. A lot of just guys, they're going to average 50 or 60, sort of not be fancy, friendly positions. Then you have D'Ambrosio, who's 19-year-old, 443k. I think he's probably, again, too expensive for his role. I think he's going to average probably 60, 65 for a lot of his career, unless he has a change into the midfield, as he'll take up a fancy role similar to that of Blakey, where he has a lot more impact on the game than what his fancy numbers put up. And then here we just go down to the rookies here. Sardis is a guy you could look to bring in. I'll probably bring him in over the likes of Wardlaw but Wardlaw plays the Eagles and they play the Hawks. So he could be one to bring in and hope that in the first 4 rounds he can make a lot of money and be that upgrade for Setterfield, as that already is almost 900k. So if they can each gain 100,000 in 2 games, then I can almost get any midfielder I want in that time, which will probably potentially be another, potentially go up to the likes of Mills or someone else. Hayes, a defender, I believe from research he's a key defender. I think he's 197 centimeters, so probably not the fantasy role that you want, not the fantasy player you want, sorry. and he might get around. He probably will get a round one debut, but don't know. Davey, another youngster. He probably was picked a little bit low than he probably should have. So you could easily see him, as shown in his ownership, he could be on for a round one debut. He's not going to average that much. He'll probably average in the 40s or 50s or somewhere around that. I'm guessing he'll be a small forward. Then you have Wanganeen. He's another guy I've looked at and favoured just because he could at 200k be a debutant, and I don't think he goes and averages 22 again. Surely he averages, as shown, I think he put up an 8 as a Medi sub last year. The 8 he put on 8%, that would have been a Medi sub, it would have been a Medi sub here. Take that out and his average increases to like 26, 27, I believe, which is not too much better, but it's already improvement. And if he does go on, and I think he'll just have better output this year, he is pretty good tackler. If he can get the disposals that he needs, even just 10 a game, 10 disposals, you'll see that average go up. And then not really anyone else, just the two other 200k guys that I haven't done too much research on, as we just gotta do more research if they get selected in a game, because they're probably not going to be round one debutants, but they could be in the future just guys that get a game, especially the other Davey brother. So that's the end to this video. Remember to like and subscribe, everyone, and to go on and watch the other AFL Fantasy team reveals that are, I guess, in essence, outdated now, as there's been some changes. But to get my main view on a lot of these players that have stayed in my team, go over to the playlist over here. And if you want to watch the other fantasy team previews, then there'll be another playlist on screen to click on that to watch through those. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.